What's going on, YouTube? So today I'm actually going to start on my RSX. I'm going to stop neglecting it. It's been neglected for the past, I don't know, like 6 months or so. I haven't really driven it. It's been sitting here in the garage. So I'm going to start off by kind of just walking you guys around the vehicle for those of you that don't actually know what my vehicle is or what my RSX has on it. And then I'll get into some of what I'm actually going to be doing during this whole kind of transition and upgrade. Something that's been long awaited. So yeah. This is my 2002 Acura RSX Type S. It actually has the 0506 front end conversion on it, as well as the rear end conversion. It has the Anointed Arrow wide body. It's sitting on 3-piece Heritage wheels, the Hokkaido R's. I'm sorry if I'm saying that wrong. So got the back end sitting proper, tucking in the rear right now. Got the, like I said, 0506 rear end conversion on this. The carbon hatch. And the J's Racing diffuser on the rear. It's actually an Apex N1 exhaust. And yeah. So I know she's dirty right now. Not really doing the car much justice. So I'm gonna go ahead and throw in some of my videos from when she's sitting real clean, some rollers and stuff, so you guys can see. Alright, so this is under the engine bay. I've already done some things to start cleaning up the engine bay. I've already done the ABS delete, which is a whole module that was sitting here. I've tucked the fuse box, relocated the battery, but this whole video or series is going to be a lot different. So to give a quick overview of what this build is actually going to entail, we're going to be yanking the motor out, we're going to be shaving the engine bay. We got the electric power steering that's going to go in, so we're going to get rid of the big power steering unit. Got a new intake manifold, fuel lines, whole fuel system, everything. We're going turbo. I'm going to be doing a 6466 precision ball bearing turbo. And you know, I'm really shooting to do this build proper. You know, so I'm going to kind of video everything that I'm doing. I want to do a real setup. No cheaping out, pretty much. So let me show you guys what I already have in, what they kind of already had in stock as far as internals for the engine. Still waiting on a couple things on back order. Alright, so what I've already got in is I got the Brian Crowler dual valve springs, the full Varela valves, intake and exhaust. I got the CP forged pistons, the Manley forged rods, you know, reliable stuff. Got the engine bearings, the new valve seals, and I already got my head gasket. So we're just still waiting on a few things that are on back order and some things that are in the mail right now. So I'll update later on. I did get all of this stuff as well as majority of the parts that I'm getting for this build from Real Street Performance. They really hooked me up. I happened to be down there for some work and I was only 30 minutes away from their shop, so I stopped by and kind of picked up all of this stuff and ordered some other things that I'm going to be needing. And they're really a big help, man. They're really a big help helping me figure out exactly what I needed to do to get this build going. Make sure that I'm using, you know, quality parts and that I'm getting the right parts to meet my power goal in the end. So big shout out to them, especially Pablo. He actually goes on Instagram by Slow Integra. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and get started tearing this thing apart. I'm gonna start putting it on jack stands and pulling the front end off, draining the oil, coolant, and then I'm gonna start disconnecting the lines so that we can start doing our work on the engine bay. Alright, so I'm almost there. Got everything in the engine bay pretty much unhooked. Got the whole wiring harness tucked off to the side. Unhooked the power steering. Got the whole radiator and air conditioning system out of the way. All the hose unhooked. Almost ready to pull this. Almost ready to pull it. Only thing I got to do is take the axles out, the headers off, and then pull the crane in and hook it up and start to unhook the motor mounts. And oh yeah, I gotta get the hood out the way before we pull it out too. But almost there. Alright, so now I got everything off that needs to be off. I got the hoist already in place. Just got the last two motor mounts to undo and try to pull her out. I've pulled this motor out many times, but this is the part that I've always had a second hand for. So we'll see how it goes. Alright, so I got the motor out. So I'm just going to go ahead and start pulling the rest of the items that I don't need, or at least to get out the way, because we're going to be shaving the entire engine bay. We're going to be filling in all these holes and kind of smoothing everything out, as well as removing a bunch of things. Since I'm switching to electric power steering, I'm not going to need the power steering pump anymore. I'm going to be deleting AC so I can get rid of the AC lines, which I already had a tuck kit, the AC tuck kit, to delete the line that came across the top of the engine and the line that ran this way. But I'm going to be getting rid of that. Also going to be deleting the heat, so I'm going to be getting rid of all of these hoses. But I'm pretty much going to be removing everything out of the engine bay so that I can go ahead and get it all sanded down, well, degreased and then sanded down, and then start to weld some of these holes up and just prepare for paint and getting everything kind of squared away. Alright, so I got the bay mostly cleaned out. I removed the rest of almost everything that was in here, the power steering rack, all the heater hoses, the AC lines that I had, pulled the wiring harness out, and pulled the power steering reservoir off. That's not going to be going back on. Neither is any of the heater core or AC or heater lines. Right now, I'm going to go ahead and spray it down with some heavy degreaser, let it sit for a little while, and scrub it down a little bit. So yeah. I also went ahead and removed the struts from both sides to clear that up. I went ahead and moved the brake booster and the master cylinder, and I kind of pulled all of the harness wires for the one side all over here. So this is pretty much everything I'm gonna do for today. It's about where I wanted to be at. I want to point out too that I'm actually going to be relocating these terminals. I had put them in here because I have tucked my battery back behind my bumper, and if I needed to jump somebody's car, or if my car needed to jump, or I needed to get to a battery connection somehow, I used to have to take the whole bumper off just to get to it, and it really sucked. So I put these terminals up here, but at the time that I did it, I didn't really think about how close it was to this. But now through this whole process, I'm actually going to be relocating them. I kind of have in mind kind of making a plate right here. So kind of making me a plate right in here so that I can put both of those coming off sitting here. And I also plan to put a master disconnect switch. So if I know I'm not going to be driving the car for an extended period of time, I can just I can flip the switch and know that the battery isn't sitting here slowly getting drained, and when I come back to it, it's going to be ready to go. I just have to flip the switch back on. So I'm going to get that done. Alright guys, so that's pretty much going to wrap up this video. Make sure you stay tuned. This is just the very beginning of a long build that I'm going to be doing. So on the next video, I'm going to start getting into the shaving of the bay. So I'm going to start filling in some of these holes. I'm going to start filling in some of these holes through here. I'm still trying to decide whether I want to plate it all the way in. Like some people will take and do a plate all the way over this area and kind of box it in. Still kind of back and forth on that one. Same thing over here, kind of taking a plate from this edge all the way over. It's a cleaner look, it is, but it's a lot more work that I'm going to have to do. So I'm still deciding on that. Regardless, even if I don't do that, I will just come through and kind of fill in all these holes with the welder and then grind it all down. All the holes in here, everything back in here. Just kind of make it all clean and get it ready for paint. Alright boys, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe this video, and be looking out for my next one. Alright, peace.